What's going on, guys? Firewolf Tech here, showing you guys the 57-inch Samsung Neo G9 gaming monitor. I want to know if $2,500 for a massive super ultra wide monitor is worth getting. This Odyssey Neo G9 is the world's first dual ultra high definition monitor, which is a crazy resolution of 7680 by 2160. The Neo G9 features a 57-inch VA panel with quantum mini LEDs and a refresh rate of 240 Hz, which is crazy for this resolution. For gaming, we get AMD FreeSync Premium Pro and a 1 millisecond response time for an immersive gaming experience. You're also going to see this aggressive 1000R curvature with a nice RGB core lighting on the back. I've done an unboxing video on this monitor, and thanks for patiently waiting on this review video. It's been long overdue. If you're new to the Firewolf Tech channel, then I hope this video convinces you to drop a sub. It really means a lot to me. This monitor is also referred to as the G95NC in other regions, which might have a slightly different model number. Here in the US, Samsung is going with 57-inch Odyssey Neo G9, and the model that I have in this review is the LS57CG952NNXZA. Now, I've been using the Neo G9 for about 7 weeks now, and I have to say this monitor has been an amazing experience. You're basically combining two 4K 32-inch Odyssey Neo G8 monitors, and when you look at it that way, $2,500 price tag starts to make some sense, since one Neo G8 retails for $1,500. Now, I've tested the 49-inch G9 OLED, and while that has a gorgeous display, one thing I didn't like was the 1440p vertical space, which made it feel like it was too short, especially when editing video. The beauty of the 57-inch Neo G9 is that it retains a 4K vertical resolution of 2160, and that really makes a huge difference for me. There's so much space, which makes it comfortable to video edit while having the benefit of a 32:9 super ultra wide aspect ratio. I mean, in my opinion, this is way better than having a triple monitor setup and looks way cleaner. Talking about clean, I highly recommend getting a monitor arm or wall mount for this monitor. I didn't like the stand that it comes with since it robs so much of your desk space. The stand does give you a good amount of height adjustment, tilt, and swivel, but the way the feet stand out so much is horrible in my opinion. I wish they made the stand similar to the G9 OLED or the G8 OLED, which looks way better. This 57-inch Neo G9 without the stand weighs 34 pounds, so finding a monitor arm that both supports the weight and size is hard to find. I ended up going with the Ergotron HX, which is one of the priciest monitor arms, but the reason why I truly went with this one is because at the time, it was the only one that had a separate VESA mount that makes it easier to put on. AVLT just recently released a new monitor arm that supports up to 44 pounds and comes with a similar detachable VESA mount and is half the price. If you guys have been watching my monitor videos, you know I've always recommended AVLT for its value and quality. I would have tried this one first, but keep in mind that this mount is new, so I can't say for sure how it'll hold up with this 57-inch Neo G9. But if someone does try it, please comment down below and let us know. For now, I'm satisfied with the Ergotron HX and how well it holds this monitor. You should know that the tilt mechanism on this monitor arm isn't the strongest hold, which I don't mind since I never plan on tilting the monitor upwards anyways. For inputs, we're going to get the latest DisplayPort 2.1 port, 3 HDMI 2.1 ports with one of them locked at 120 Hz, 2 USB upstream ports so you could actually have 2 different computers connected to it, 2 USB-A 3.0 ports, and a headphone jack. At this price point, I'm disappointed that Samsung didn't add a full-featured USB-C port, even if it didn't charge your devices. Having 3 HDMI ports does come in handy if you have multiple devices, and this Neo G9 has a good automatic input switch and picture-by-picture settings. Now here's a little rant. At the time of this video, the best graphics card, which is the NVIDIA RTX 4090, isn't capable of running 240 Hz on this Neo G9, which honestly sucks. I wish I was able to test out the fastest refresh rate on this monitor, but unfortunately, I'm stuck at 120 Hz. It makes me feel like I can't really give you guys a full honest review, and even when you look at Samsung's fine print claim for world's first dual UHD monitor, they claim you need a graphics card that supports DisplayPort 2.1 or HDMI 2.1. You and me are scratching our heads because even though the 4090 doesn't have DisplayPort 2.1, it does have HDMI 2.1, so what the f. Then you read the next line, actual specifications of support may vary by graphics card, and that's Samsung basically saying it's not their problem if your graphics card doesn't support it. So for now at least, if you have a 4090, 4080, 40 whatever, you're stuck at 120 Hz. The only graphics cards that have DisplayPort 2.1 at the moment are AMD's Radeon 7000 series, and I ain't gonna switch. Let's look at the bright side though. If you do end up getting this monster of a monitor, at least you're future-proofing for a long time. And who knows, maybe in 2 to 3 years, we'd hit 240 frames per second on any 4K game. So let's dive right into the gaming experience using my gaming PC equipped with an RTX 4090 and a Ryzen 9 7900X. All PC specs will be listed down below. For gaming performance, the Neo G9 has AMD FreeSync Premium Pro, which is great, but I would have preferred to at least have NVIDIA G-Sync compatibility. Even though I'm stuck at 120 Hz, it's still a great experience, since I've been getting frames between 120 to 140 frames per second across games like Modern Warfare 3 and Forza Horizon 5 with extreme settings. A fast 1 millisecond response time will give you smooth gameplay, and I haven't experienced any screen tears or ghosting. HDR gaming looks amazing on this as well. Playing first-person shooters like Modern Warfare 3 in this 32:9 aspect ratio is immersive, especially with the 1000R curvature. I wouldn't say that this monitor is going to be the best at competitive play, but you could definitely slap while using a super ultra wide monitor. There are no built-in speakers, so you're going to want to have some good PC speakers. I use the Razer Leviathan V2X, which pairs very nicely with the Neo G9, or you could always use a good pair of headsets. If you're into racing simulations, I would imagine the screen would be perfect. Cockpit mode in Forza was amazing, and I really felt like I was inside my 2017 Subaru STI that I used to have years ago. Forza looks so good on this display, and it's something you should definitely experience. Now, it's important to note that not all games support the 32:9 aspect ratio. Take Diablo for example. You'll get a good amount of screen space, but it does leave 2 small black borders. Thankfully, the blacks on his monitors are great, so you don't really notice it too much, especially if you were to play in the dark. Taking a little break from gaming, I want to go over the quality of this massive 57-inch screen. This is a beautiful screen, and while not perfect, it's still an amazing experience. You're getting a resolution of 7680 by 2160, which for a 57-inch screen gets you about 140 pixels per inch. The Neo G9 gets better clarity and detail than compared to a 27-inch 1440p monitor, which is only 108 pixels per inch. So if you're running a dual screen or triple 1440p setup, you will definitely notice sharper details, which is a nice upgrade. The 57-inch Neo G9 has a VA panel similar to the 32-inch Neo G8. The main advantages of VA panels are better contrast and darker blacks. OLED is definitely better at blacks, but at least with VA panels, you can get an even brighter display with typical brightness levels at 420 nits of brightness. Another amazing feature of this display is Samsung's Quantum Matrix technology powered by Quantum Mini LEDs. You're getting 2,392 local dimming zones, which helps increase contrast, HDR performance, and keeps blooming at a minimum. Talking about HDR, this Neo G9 is VISA certified Display HDR 1000, which makes using HDR a great experience after calibrating it to your liking. This is a display where you can actually leave HDR on at all times. If you are planning on enabling HDR on Windows, I recommend using Windows HDR Calibration so you can optimize your HDR experience. For color coverage, the Neo G9 has an impressive 95% DCI-P3 color gamut coverage. I think color is going to be a matter of preference, and for me, the colors look great. There's a lot of customization you could do to tweak to your liking, whether that's through the menu settings or using your graphics card settings. These are the settings that I currently use. From display settings, I scale it to 200%, turn HDR on. Then on the monitor settings, I change picture mode to entertain, brightness and contrast at 50, while sharpness, color, and tint I left the same values. I have both local dimming and contrast enhancer both set to high. After that, I use NVIDIA control panel to further customize color, and under change resolution, I enable full dynamic range, then go to adjust desktop color settings and set the brightness to plus 75%, contrast plus 100, gamma to plus 0.75, and then digital vibrance to plus 40. Now this is what works for me, and even if you don't go this route, the standard factory calibrations are good enough. Now I'm aware early buyers of this monitor experience some quality control issues, and I'm hoping by the time you guys decide to get one, the chances are slim. I thankfully haven't experienced issues from the time that I've used it. And at the end of the day, you can always return it or exchange it if you feel like you got a bad one, as long as you're within your buyer's remorse period. For $2,500, I'm pretty upset that there wasn't a remote included to easily navigate the menu and settings. You're left with the traditional way, which is on the bottom of the monitor. You get 4 directional buttons with another button in the middle that brings up a shortcut. To access the menu, you press the middle button and go up to access the full menu. From the top, you'll see 5 circles displaying key information such as black equalizer, response, refresh rate, adaptive sync, and core sync. Bottom left, you'll see the categories, which are game, picture, PIP/PVP, on-screen display, system, and support options. Diving into the game settings, we could adjust the refresh rate from 120 to 240 Hz, but keep in mind that even if you were to manually set it to 240, your PC will only output to 60 Hz if your graphics card doesn't support it, like the 4090. Moving on, we have adjustments to response time, adaptive sync, and black equalizer, which some of these may be blacked out depending on the settings you're currently using, such as HDR. You also have some cool virtual aim points with 3 different colors and 2 different styles for better aim, or maybe some quick scopes. Under that are the infinity core lighting settings, which by default are turned off. This is where you can customize all the cool settings of the RGB lighting in the back. I personally like the Aurora rotation. If you want these lights to sync while you're gaming, then you will need to first plug in a USB upstream cable to the monitor itself. And finally, you can change the screen size from automatic to any of these presets. You may need to use this if you want to game on a console like the PS5 to ensure that you have the right aspect ratio. We covered picture settings earlier, but I do want to mention that it does have eye care settings that you can adjust to your liking. Picture in picture and picture by picture is a really cool feature that lets you use 2 inputs at the same time. You could have your PC on one side, Mac on the other side, or my favorite way, using my PS5 so I can game while still being able to use my PC. This feature works great on this monitor, and I love how seamless it looks without having monitor bezels in between. You can even play the PS5 in picture mode, which is awesome, but I prefer having it side by side. It's a great feature to have, and I'm happy with how well it performs. Even if you don't have a crazy gaming PC, being able to enjoy your next generation console, whether that's a Series X or PS5, is still a great experience on this monitor. You won't have true ultra-wide support, but playing in the native 16:9 aspect ratio still gives you a 4K resolution, and for the PS5, it will support variable refresh rates all the way up to 120 Hz. And honestly, the black borders aren't that bad thanks to the Neo G9's crispy blacks. If you want to connect your laptop or MacBook, you will need to either use an HDMI port, USB hub, USB-C to DisplayPort, or USB-C to HDMI cable if your laptop supports it. Luckily, the new M3 series MacBook Pros feature HDMI 2.1, which fully supports a dual 4K resolution at 120 Hz. macOS makes scaling a little challenging, but thankfully it offers a 3840 by 1080 scaling, which looks great. You could enable the native resolution, but it makes everything look way too small. Whether you're using a MacBook, Mac Mini, or Mac Studio, macOS is going to look amazing on the Neo G9. I recommend using an app like Magnet to be able to easily resize your windows, like quickly doing split screen, thirds, quarters, and even a sixth. As a content creator, one of the most important things for me for a monitor is how well it boosts my productivity and workflow. Having a massive super ultra wide monitor is perfect for video editing because you get a wide view of the timeline. This really helps keep me in the zone, and what I love about the screen size is that I could even do a 30-70 split and still have so much space. Not only are you getting such a wide timeline on this monitor, but you're also getting a taller view thanks to the vertical pixels of 2160. It doesn't feel squished like the OLED G9 that I reviewed before, and looking at the preview windows offers a good size, and depending on how you adjust your timeline, you can even have it larger. I don't feel the need of having a secondary monitor just to see the preview of the video. This monitor has made a lot of my recent videos so much easier to produce. So is the 57-inch Samsung Odyssey Neo G9 worth the insane price tag of $2,500? Well, for me, it's worth it, but only if you're looking for a high quality immersive display. If you were looking into a premium 32-inch 4K monitor, you're going to be around the $1,000 to $1,500 price range. And if I wanted to get a dual 4K setup, let's say the Odyssey Neo G8, which is an amazing 4K monitor, very similar to this Neo G9, that would run me around $1,500 for just one, or $3,000 for two, assuming retail prices. And in my opinion, having them side by side wouldn't look as great or be as immersive as a Neo G9. Catching the Neo G9 on sale would also be even better, and because of its high price tag, if it does go on sale, you could be saving hundreds. I really enjoyed my time with the 57-inch Neo G9, and as much as I wish to be able to experience 240 Hz, at least you know that you're future-proofing for years to come. The gaming experience is amazing, the colors are awesome, and the deep blacks are satisfying. As long as you have the budget for it, powerful equipment, and most importantly, the space for it, then this 57-inch Samsung Odyssey Neo G9 will put a smile on your face. If you are interested in getting this monitor or the many tech that you've seen in this video, I will have affiliate links down below, which also helps and supports the Firewolf Tech channel. I want to thank you for sticking to the end of this video, and would also like to know your thoughts and feedbacks in the comment section below. I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and I would love your support with a like, share, and subscribe. Firewolf out.